This album's called Swag. I'm picturing him in a G-Shock with his snapback backwards.
But that was a thing for him at one time. That's what he did. He did look like that.
No, we saw that era.
Yeah, we were there. We were there.
Is it not clocking to you that I'm standing on business? Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how the album fits into the context of that artist's career. For everyone watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. We thank you. Subscribe to us and leave us a comment. Let us know how wrong we always are. My name is Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley Official, a.k.a. The Godfather, a.k.a. It's been a long time. Still, Champion Scribe. We're here with His Royal Highness, a.k.a. The Bunny, a.k.a. Green Goblin, King Grant.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back with the legend, the great Justin Bieber and his latest album, Swag. This is an album that none of us saw coming, literally. He was just like, hey, Swag, new album's dropping. Hopefully you tune in tomorrow, and then this album is out. We're reviewing this on Friday. The day that this album came out, we're reviewing this on Friday. Usually we do not review the album exactly on the day on which it comes out, but situations happen and things got moved around, and we're recording on Friday. Justin Bieber's dropping on Friday. We're talking about Justin Bieber on Friday.
Yep.
So, Adriel, how did you feel about this album, the rollout, or lack thereof, and how we've arrived at this point?
I think two things come to mind. First was the track list and there being 21 songs on this project. You know me, I'm not one of those people. I don't love 20 songs on a project. And it's funny because he hasn't been someone who's big on the skits and the interludes. That hasn't really been his vibe. This is his 7th studio album. How many albums does he have where he has a lot of skits? Basically none of them. And I was talking to my partner about this, and she was kind of giving him more credit and being like, I'm excited, if there's skits, it's not really 20 songs. And I was dubious of him doing that, but here we are. There's a few interludes on here. It's not a full 20 songs. But I was excited for the music from him because I feel like Justin Bieber is probably one of the most underrated pop stars. Oh. In terms of the quality of his music. Okay. I think he's known for being a big star and having huge hits. Yep. But he also has put out a ton of quality music. Now, not everything. Not everything is a hit. Not everything's quality. But he has put out a ton of quality music. So I was excited for this. We're all the same age. He's grown now. More mature music. So I was looking forward to what he had in store.
Yeah, he's next to Miley Cyrus. When we talked about Miley Cyrus a few weeks ago or a month ago, where we said we have known them since they were literally children. We've been growing up alongside them. So we've seen pretty much every evolution of them since they've been famous. Justin Bieber, I think, is like 33, 32, 31, something.
He's our age.
Right? So he's gotten to a point now where he is a fully fleshed out artist completely. The hits he has under his belt, those were even dropping those 10 years ago. Yeah. Sorry came out 10 years ago. Where Are You Now? That shit came out like 10 years ago. So he's, even though, again, like 30, legacy act, genuinely.
Oh, big time legacy act.
But still a massive superstar. This album, Swag, coming out, this is a moment. Everybody I know, we also live in Canada, but everybody we know has some sort of take, has some sort of comment, something. They have to drop a line about it in some way, whether or not they're talking about the Druski interludes, whether they're not talking about clocking that you're standing on business, whatever. That also gets mentioned on this album, by the way. They do talk about that. This is a serious moment, and the fact that he released it with minimal promotion, and the fact that it's an album that's on everybody's lips just is a testament to how large of a superstar he still is.
And I think people being excited for the music, because I think compared to someone like Miley Cyrus, her music is almost in a vacuum separate from her stardom. Some people are fans of her hardcore where everything that she speaks on, they want to hear it.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber is at a point where people are here for the music. There are people who are not Justin Bieber fans who are like, yeah, I'm going to listen to this. I got to listen to this. So whether the music is what brought him here, I think is pretty cool. I had 2 meetings this morning where we talked about Justin Bieber for the first bit of the meeting. One was someone who I knew already, so, more casual. We talked about Justin Bieber for a good 10 minutes, had our own pre-podcast, so to speak. And then another meeting with someone who I had never met before. And that was the first thing out of their mouth was, I was like, how's your day going? How are things? They're like, listen to the new Justin Bieber album. Talking to my son about it. I said, damn, family affair. And one thing that we said, me and her son, independently, we had never met before. It was to the point where she had to bring her son onto the call to be like, he said what you said. And I said, this album showed me he's spending time with the blacks. That's what this album it showed me. Having Marvin Winans on the end, if you know who Marvin Winans is, period, that's something for the black community. They know who that is. And as well, I think there's always been that kind of like hip hop, R&B kind of, taste in his music a little bit, but calling the album swag is one thing, I think some of the production on here, even the features on here, like these is not a pop feature type of album.
Yeah, Gunna,
Cash Cobain.
Shout out Cash Cobain getting that type of look.
Lil B,
Sexy Red.
Yep, of course.
Right. Druski, we mentioned, he's getting a good look. It's not even just a bit part. He's like throughout the album, Druski is there.
Yeah, before we talk about Druski and then eventually like what song could have been a single on here, let's go back in time to our past Justin Bieber review, okay? This is an album that I basically do not go back to justice. Came out in March of 2021, which feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, ages ago.
Do you remember what you gave that album?
I gave it a 4.
You'd be surprised you gave it a 7.
Damn.
Yep, you were a fan.
I was. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
The score speaks for itself.
Let me look at the track list real quick. Peaches.
Yeah, you gave it a 7. There's some stuff on here.
Yeah.
That Dominic Fike track's probably the one I play the most.
Yeah, Holy. I said Holy with Chance the Rapper.
Yeah. Is that on Justice?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
See right there.
I gave it a 5.5. There's a bit of a tone deafness in this one, the MLK interlude.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
I remember that. But I think, that last album was one where it was a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
He had some good songs, but not all in one direction. This album, definitely more cohesive, which I really like. The timeline, I kind of felt bad for everyone else dropping music because a ton of music that dropped today. We're recording this on Friday. Larry June dropped an album.
Who?
Flo and Kaytranada have a new song.
Who?
Giveon has a new album out as well.
Oh my, that's probably, leading up to this, that probably would have been who we would be reviewing this week, Giveon and Clips.
That could have been the two.
That's crazy.
But yeah, Giveon stepped on. And so Justin Bieber, I think talking about the stardom of him, it's his surprise drop stepping on all these projects. Because all these people we're naming have like pretty strong fan bases. Clips, Giveon, Larry June, Kaytranada.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Justin Bieber's dropping.
Silence.
Everything else is going to the wayside. Why I was interested in the rollout for this project, and I think this is like part of the bigger picture here, is he's been such a huge hit singles artist. He's had some of the biggest songs in basically the history of music. And, this is an album that one we didn't know was coming, a surprise, and no single. For an artist like Bieber to have no single is very, very interesting. Is there a song on here that you felt like was single worthy?
I think All I Can Take, which is the first track, I think it has this Janet. I was getting a lot of Janet on this album. Maybe that's just a me thing, but I haven't even been listening to Janet Jackson's music that much frequently.
It's the era.
But I was just getting a Janet Jackson feeling, and All I Could Take was giving me a Janet Michael situation, like exactly. Obviously, Michael Jackson, one of Justin Bieber's inspirations, influences, all that stuff. But I was getting this, like, I don't know, maybe it was like the synths, like the 80s style synths.
80s synths. Yeah, that's what I have that in my notes too, of like very 80s synths. It's funny, I was talking to someone about it because they brought up the 80s synths as well. And again, that's like one of my favorite eras of music. So I love when anyone brings that style back. But this album feels like it's not yacht rock, but he's like whatever is right before that. Like whatever is right before that in like a modern way of doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what he's doing all over this. All I Can Take is my favorite song on here.
Yeah, me too.
And it's kind of rare that the first song is my favorite song. The Little Sims Project was another one where that was the case with Thief. But you're right. That if this was the single, the hype would have been.
Yeah, I would have been pretty high on it.
Because he doesn't have a single like this really at all. And this song is muted in a way that actually matches the album.
Yes.
Because this whole album is a really muted sound. Like, there's no stadium music on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so even a song like Swag. Swag is probably another one that I think would be a single, but I don't know if Cash Cobain is... I don't know if he's got the pedigree to be on the single with Justin Bieber, but Swag is another one of my favorite songs where it's like, again, that was another one of the songs that I'm like, this feels like a Janet Jackson song, like on the one where she is like shaking her hair and it's a red cover. I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. It's the super famous one, like one of her best ones. But that reminded me of a couple of songs that were on that album. And I was like, man, this spacious, almost like on like a beach type of feeling, but it's still got this electronic like pace. Like it's got this almost like I don't want to say it's not drum and bass, but it's definitely an electronic music style of pace where the BPM is really, really high. It's got these snaps, these like laser beam sounds. I just thought that was extremely interesting, especially for a Justin Bieber song where his music tends to be more maximalist. For it to have this more spacious feel, I thought it was really interesting. And I'm like, this, again, and this kind of matches the first song that we talked about, where I'm like, this could have been a single. Like, it felt like a single that represented what happened.
It feels like a Cash Cobain song.
Yeah.
Like, I think Cash Cobain, you're saying he doesn't have the cachet for a single. I actually feel the opposite because he kind of has this whole corner of the internet that's just his, you know.
Yes, he does. He does.
His sound, his look, his energy. So I think that would have been an interesting
The Velvet
single.
Rope. The Velvet Rope is the album.
Janet fans don't hate us, okay? We got to it eventually.
Hey, hang on a second. The Velvet Rope is probably like a 9.5 out of 10 for me, okay? So,
but you couldn't remember the name of the album, so I just wanted to apologize. That of all the Janet albums I remember the name of, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah, it was like maybe like a more muted, like Go Deep or Every Time is probably a good example.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that his ability to tap into Janet Jackson, obviously huge influence for so many artists, but I've never really felt like his music crossed into that realm, right?
No.
So I was really intrigued to hear that for a good amount of the songs on this album.
The two names that I actually thought of in terms of influence, not Janet Jackson, no one from the Jackson family, is Dijon, who's on one of the records, and Mkgee. And I feel like that
Tell me more about that.
I think that is kind of what this album sounds like, is like Justin's been a fan of those artists maybe and listening to that. And this is his like version of that. Because that's what this feels like to me. Like there's so many songs on here that, yes, he does not have the natural like big, expansive pop sound. Like, if that's what you're here for, you're in the wrong room. But I think it's kind of like the muted nature of these records, even in his vocals. Like, whoever mixed this, it's like, this is like made for the background. You know, like this is an album that's, it's not for the big sing-along. Like songs like Butterflies, even Things You Do, like those records, especially the kind of the guitar leading, is like, he has other songs that are more guitar leading, like a song like Love Yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Love Yourself and Things You Do, totally different records. Yes, both like guitar-led records, but I think there's almost like, it's like, when Drake has his underwater sound that we talk about, this is kind of like that kind of filter they're putting on this, called the Mkgee filter. So that's what I thought of when I thought this album is not Janet Jackson or Michael or that 80s sound. There's elements of that for sure, but I think this is just so much more muted and downplayed. Like there's times when I was listening to this album and I was like, are my headphones loud enough? Like, do I gotta turn this up?
So true.
So I think like making the effort to have that kind of energy to this album is something he's never ever done before.
Yeah.
So there's also some mixed reviews. Some people do not like this project and do not want to hear that sound. But I think guys like Dijon and Mkgee are kind of like an underground of this like indie R&B that's happening. And I think there's a world where Justin Bieber could have been an artist like that if he wasn't, already a teenage pop star.
Right, that's so true. There are a couple of songs, I will say there's like a little bit of space where I'm like, kind of let me down. If people are wondering why we're not going super in depth when it comes to like the lyrics in that situation, this album just came out 9 hours ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are very much in the thick of it when it comes to that. But one of the songs, like there are songs that I do like and don't like. I think there's some of the songs like Go Baby, even though I love the message of Go Baby, okay? He loves his wife. I'm happy for him, okay?
But bring in the hate. It
just like is lackluster. I feel like it just didn't go anywhere. The production style is very much like the slow R&B that is super common. Like it's very super common right now. It's so nondescript. That's how common it is, basically. And I think he's a good vocalist, but not a good enough vocalist where I am like, I'm showing up because he's singing.
I think he has that ability, though. I just don't think that's his norm.
Yeah.
To me, he's a very versatile vocalist in the way that he doesn't always come with his A+, and sometimes the song doesn't need his A+.
True.
And I think, let's go back to comparing him to Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus brings her A+ to songs that maybe don't need it.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So I think in that way, it's like he can have that ability to make a song just from his voice. There's 2 features on here that I was very curious to hear what it sounded like. And this is probably like that's deep as I'm going to go when it comes to it. Obviously, one of them is Way It Is. To me, I'm like, that's Jamal Bieber. Like, Justin is everywhere else.
Yeah.
But Way It Is Jamal Bieber showing up. But what I thought interesting is because I've always thought Gunna was underrated kind of as a vocalist because he does that like fake R&B thing where he's not really singing, but can be on an R&B song. He's done it a bunch of times before, and it kind of always ends up being a good song. This song, Bieber, to me, is the worst part of the song.
Ooh.
And I think that him almost over vocalizing doesn't work here because Gunna comes in a lot more smooth, a lot more chill. And to start it off, Justin Bieber is kind of hitting these high notes that give it like a contrast that I'm not really into. So I like the song still, but I'm almost waiting for Gunna's part to come in. And I think Bieber could have done a version of what Gunna is doing.
Yeah.
And it would have worked. So that's my problem with that one. And then, of course, the song everyone is excited about, Sweet Spot.
Sexy Red.
With Sexy Red. I don't hate that song, if I'm being honest, but it was a point in the album where I had to check my phone. Like, you just had to have the phone down, you're listening to the album.
You're just like,
this is the time when I was like...
Wait, am I still on the album?
Yeah. Because it's like, I think the actual like bones of this record, like in terms of song structure, works. I like this beat.
Me too.
I think Justin's part on this is good. I think Sexy Red is just such a unique voice. And what she talks about, is consistent with her. She stays consistent.
Yep.
But it kind of like makes the song feel less serious.
Yeah. I think that's Sweet Spot I like it a lot. Again, it's more of that 80s production style, like very slow with the 80s synths. As soon as she comes on, like he's like, oh, it's a sweet spot. It's very smooth, very almost elegant. And then Sexy Red jumps into the song and she like lands onto the song like a brick, bro. It's actually so jarring when she appears. Her lack of melody is, I don't know if it can be more apparent. She's purely going for rhythm of rapping, but I felt like it was even out of like, it didn't even feel, maybe it was technically within like the bars are correct, but just listening to it, I'm like, my body was like rejecting it. Like not even my ears, my body was like, yo, get this, what's going on here? Like,
it's funny because I think this is one of those songs that's probably gonna actually age better. And
I am shocked by that. No. This song to me felt like, when you're at a club and the DJ, like, he's putting the vocals over like production, but you're like, this shit don't work, bro. Like, I know in your head it may work, but out here in the masses,
in the free world,
it does not work. It may, again, technically the bars may fit, but that shit is not working whatsoever.
Here's why I think it's gonna age well is because Sexy Red and Justin Bieber, both huge figures. You know, in a normal situation, this is a huge collab. Like, this wouldn't be a single.
Yeah.
You know, in a normal situation, but there aren't that many songs like this. This is a unique record. I think we're just not. It didn't hit for us right away. We're not like eager for this, but this is a unique record. There are not that many songs that sound like this. Like, if we're being honest, and to me, like personally, when I heard this, I thought of Flo Milli. Flo Milli would be someone I would love to hear kind of slide on this, but taking out the jarring nature of Sexy Red's voice on this record. This is a unique song. Like, we don't have that many songs like this. And so I think because this song has these two stars on it, it's not going to be low key. And I think it will resurface, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Quote me. But I think it will resurface because this is a song that there are not that many songs like this, just period.
I agree. But I agree. There aren't very many songs like this. You know who actually this soundscape fits for? Early stage Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
That's the very early stage. She was doing music that had the similar glossy, synthetic, a little bit 80s inspired.
It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
What was it called? She's wearing all gray and she has like a gray bob on the cover.
The Tina Snow era.
Tina Snow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think she would have fit perfectly on there, and like she also understands just the aesthetic of a song better than Sexy Red does. I feel like Sexy Red is Sexy Red always and doesn't know how to morph that, or even not even morph it, but just like shave off some of the edge. That she does. She lost the file. Like she doesn't know where the sandpaper is.
It's always a Sexy Red song, no matter what happens. I think about her song with Bruno Mars.
Facts.
And I'm like, Bruno's doing whatever he can here, but this is a Sexy Red record.
But yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of artists either respect Sexy Red in the sense like they like her music, or they just sense the energy that is coming off of her music, and they're like, I want that. But to the neutral observer, respectfully, Sexy Red I just don't feel like it's working. Like, I just don't feel anytime that she has dropped into one of these songs, she has not found the pocket like a DaBaby did with Dua Lipa.
Yes.
Right? You know, like where you wouldn't really think that it made sense on the surface, but then when you hear them in Levitating, it actually fit perfectly. So I'm out. I'm in on Sexy Red, out on the collabs. I'm out on every collab that she does.
I think Sexy Red is in that group I've talked about where she's more entertainer than poet. And I think the dexterity of her actual rapping ability just isn't there.
Yeah.
And so the fit isn't always seamless.
How do you feel about Druski on this album?
I don't love it. I don't love any of the Druski parts on here. Like,
no?
Yeah. I feel like my issue with this album is that the title of the project and then some of the skits with Druski just make this album so unserious. And I don't need this to be like a kind of like, like solemn, album, even though sonically there are a lot of parts that feel that way.
Yeah.
But I think like there are bones of a good project here, and the skits almost don't fit the sound of the music. Like they don't go together. Like the therapy session, it's like, I don't know how that fits into what this album sounds like. So Druski, love for him, great comedian, great entertainer, but I don't like his fit on this project.
Do you think? Oh, this is a side note. Druski, one of the greatest comedians of all time, possibly.
No, you're not with me on that one.
Why not?
You're not with me on that one.
Why not?
No.
But I think everybody defines comedian like you got to do stand up.
I don't even think he's one of the best internet comedians of all time. So you're not with me on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stand on business over here on my own. It's not clocking to everybody else, but it's clocking for me.
I think he's to me, he's kind of like a Kevin Hart of the internet comedy.
Okay.
One of the most popular, one of the most successful.
Yeah.
But not actually one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that his portions they're funny. The Black and Mild thing is kind of funny. He's playing on a stereotype, obviously. But he's also taking the joke we have, like you said, Jamal Bieber, to an nth degree, where it's like he's so black, he's the stereotype of black, but with the black and mild
it
thing.
feels tone deaf to me, not in the same way as MLK did in 2021, not that kind of tone deaf. Really bad. But I think the like Jamal Bieber joke, I just don't think it was executed well on a lot of these records. Like
maybe it's too on the nose.
It's almost too on the nose, and again, I understand because Justin Bieber has kind of superseded pop in a sense where the black woman R&B crowd is his main, group now.
Yeah.
So that's the place you want to be, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I think like the idea of cosplaying your association or proximity to blackness is a very slippery slope.
Right.
And I think that like he's been accepted, beyond anything that we ever expected when it came to him coming into the game.
So true.
But I think that, playing it too much on the nose is a problem.
Okay.
And it really reminds me of someone, we also reviewed, but years before, Justin Timberlake, when he left NSYNC, and it was like, oh, he's like the cool one and he can dance and, having a skit like that for Timberlake would have been very, very tone deaf. It's like you can have song with the clips, you can have Pharrell make the beats, but don't go too far, So that's my only gripe here. Before we talk about his career and kind of what this means as him as a legacy artist, I thought it was so interesting. The first announcement of this album, the first billboard of this project, was in Iceland.
What? Sorry, say that again.
Was in Iceland. The first billboard announcing this project.
That's how shocked I was. I was like, "Am I hearing you correctly?"
It was in Iceland. Now there was the rumor that he was in Iceland working on the album that came out in April. That's where he's working on the project. So maybe there's some synergy there. But very, very interesting. And then as well, he posted his own pictures of the billboard. That's how they went viral.
Yeah,
which I thought was very interesting. It reminds me of Drake always posting his own memes. And I'm like, are we in that place in like some kind of 3-dimensional chess here?
Post irony, post meme.
Like there's not, because if you look at where celebrity culture is now, TMZ, Hollywood Reporter is not going to get it on as much as Justin Bieber is.
Yeah.
So very, very odd. But for his career, to me, this is actually a win, even though a lot of people don't love this project, just because him having the ability to kind of turn the timeline upside down is a big reminder for kind of just his legacy of like who he is as an artist.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Justin Bieber's ability to, I think I talked about this before with Beyonce. I'm like, there's only a handful of people that can drop an album, no promo, nothing. Again, this could have been an album that just, his minimal promotion is more than what he could have actually done. He could have done what Kendrick Lamar did last year, where it mystically appeared.
Yep.
It just mystically appeared.
He could have done that,
He could have done that, and everybody and their mom would have ran towards, Spotify or whatever DSP that they have to listen to this. I think that his ability, like his attraction for just attention, but also like people want to actually hear the music that he makes is extraordinary. Right. And I think that this album in particular, where even the cover, it's black with gray letters, capital letters saying so it's like Times New Roman or some shit.
No, literally.
So for him to make it as minimalist as possible aesthetically, barely any promo, barely. No single. The cover is a black square with the text on it. Like, and for everybody and their mom to be like, yo, have you heard the new Justin Bieber?
He gave us 12 hours notice.
Yeah.
That was enough.
That's it.
So I think you're right. This is a very small group of people that can do this, because we're comparing him to Miley Cyrus. I don't know Miley would have the same effect.
Yeah, I don't.
I think when you still have that star power, it means a lot at this stage in anyone's career.
Yes.
But for it to be about the art, I think that is the thing that really stands out to me about, the last, what has it been, 24 hours? Because there was no singles, no nothing, and everyone was ready to listen no matter what.
Yeah.
People were telling me that we had to review this album before it was out. So it's like the art is that strong where it's like, okay, we want to hear from him, we want to hear what he has to say. I think for what this means like going forward for him, this is not a very like perform album in terms of like what he has already in his set list.
Right.
Like how many of these songs will make it into his set list realistically? Like,
I think
All I Can Take maybe.
Yeah, he has a little bit of some filler songs. Like Walking Away, I feel like can just be in the middle, just in there, like while we're setting up for the next extravagant sequence. But I think that I don't think it's really huge for a performance-based album. He might, we don't know what his modus operandi right now is. He could do a tour. I feel like if he did a tour, I think anytime Justin Bieber does a tour, a million people are going to show up. Yeah. Everybody is showing up to that shit. So I would show up.
100%.
So I think that, it's not huge on performance, but I think that he's already accrued so many songs that he can just...
Set list is already made.
Yeah, he can basically just like hit shuffle like 4 or 5 times on the set list and just do it, and everybody will love it. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think that when it comes to when he's performing it, bringing on other guests, because he's a guest, he likes to bring on guests and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be interesting because I just can't picture in my head Lil B and Justin Bieber on the stage at the same time.
Oh, I would love that.
But I would love to see that. I would love to see that, I would love to see that. But I can't really. I think the songs are heartfelt in a way that I think he would do them. Like something like Dad's Love or Glorified Voice Note, where they're really like heartfelt. And again, I mentioned which song? Go Baby, right? Where he's just like, I want to do a song dedicated to my wife for a second. Because she's like a believer.
Yeah.
She was a believer before she was even with him.
Yeah.
So he's probably gonna do like a handful of the songs, even like Devotion, where it's just like, I want to do a song dedicated to my wife who's in the crowd. He's the type of dude to do that. So there is a performance element I can see, but it's not a huge stadium, I'm adding these next 3 songs and it's gonna blow up the stage when I perform them. That's not happening.
I think my next point, they kind of run into each other, but he's becoming more of an album artist and a singles artist. I think there was an attempt on the last project to do some of that. Now, how it went, listen to our last review. But I feel like this is his first full attempt successfully into being an album artist. And I think an artist as big as him people are not always prepared for that. And I put him and Drake in the same category where they're such big artists that we'd never think about them making music for their fans. Everything they make, we are like, no, that's for the masses.
The masses are his fans.
We don't care what your fans want. That's for the masses, okay? And I think that he's in this space where what we expect from him is almost larger than what he's actually doing. And he can't escape that because he has all these hit songs, huge records that were like, okay, like if you go back and look at Justice and see the records on there, you'll be surprised how many songs on there have 1 billion plays, 2 songs with over 1 billion plays, a few songs with over 700 million plays, 500 million plays.
Yeah.
So it's like, even at this point in his career, he still has all these huge records. And this is, I think, the first attempt he's made to not do any of that. So that to me is absolutely insane. It's like his Honestly Nevermind in a sense. But I think that is something I'm seeing happen going forward, how artists deal with that, where it's like, do I make music for what is expected of me by the masses? And because of the internet, the masses include people who are not even your fans.
Yeah.
Those people have an opinion like you mentioned. So I think he's dealt with that well. So I like this for kind of what the future of Justin Bieber music means, because you said it before, people are rushing to have opinions on this without being Justin Bieber fans at all. And so I think him, I guess, stand on business in terms of what he actually wants to make musically. I really like that. Even if I don't love this album, I like that he went that direction because the Mkgs, the Dijons are like critically acclaimed darlings. And Justin Bieber really has never been that in his career. Right. And I would say at this age, musically, that's probably something he's wants more than having the hits, because his set list is not going to change. Like, he got to have a huge hit to add to the set list at this point. Like, just a good little ditty isn't going to make it in. So, too soon.
Relax.
So I think, like, I'm interested to see him make more attempts at having the critically acclaimed record.
Yeah.
Because I think he has the bones to do that, you know.
Me too, yeah.
You know, I think we talked about it before recording, Purpose and Journals.
Yeah, those are genuinely just very good.
You know, and so I think the hits on those albums probably didn't give him the critical acclaim that they maybe deserved, but he's shown he has what it takes to have a really good project. So him becoming an album artist, going the critical acclaim route, I'm excited for it. I don't think he hit it on this one.
Yeah.
But I like the direction he's headed in.
Yeah, me too. And I like the direction he's going into. You know what we didn't talk about? The cover. How do you feel?
What cover?
You don't like the text? How do you feel? How do you feel about the text?
No, man. I don't like the cover. I don't like the title. And like, Quiet as Kept, Justin Bieber, Looking Now, has some bad covers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's like his stardom just kind of supersedes these horrible covers, but like
Believe is not very good.
Believe is what I was gonna mention. Believe, Justice, like
My World, but the
Purpose, like
Justice
Changes is probably the best cover, but some of the worst music.
Yes.
he needs to get two together. Like, Journals is fine.
Right.
Journals is probably the best combination of music and cover at the same time. Also, Journals is probably the only cover with him not on it. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, maybe there's something there. I would say Justice is solid. It's solid. It's a little bit
Justice is bad, man.
You know,
Justice is bad. Why is he in the middle of the street, like, as a damsel in distress?
There's also this explosion happening behind him. It's like, why did I blow up that building? Like, this guy's going crazy.
And you know what's funny is I think, and this is me.
Purpose was good.
What's no?
That was when he was doing one of these.
No. Purpose is bad. Purpose is bad. Purpose is bad. I think there's something to Justin Bieber as an artist because you can tell in his music, and especially the last two projects, that it's like he's very much not in the pop world, like in his own head.
Yeah, no.
Like, in his head, he's an R&B artist, you know, who works with works with Black artists. And that's who, like, he kind of really sees himself working with. Even on this project, a lot of that, like a ton of that. And I think that kind of identity change hasn't fully gone all the way there yet because people are still like, he's Justin Bieber. Like, I'm thinking of Baby featuring Ludacris. I'm thinking of One Time, you know? So I think this is, probably the full realization of, like, okay, he's an R&B artist now. He's put him in the group with Giveon and Daniel Caesar. That's where I think he should be musically, because to me, he hasn't really made a pop album maybe since Changes.
Yeah.
And I think Justice probably had all these tone deaf, weird sections of it because it was, you know, during the pandemic is probably when it was made, after what happened with George Floyd. You know, I think those things probably affected the project more than it should have.
Yeah.
But to me, he's like, this is him being like, I'm an R&B artist. You know, I'm an indie R&B artist. I'm the biggest indie R&B artist in the world. But that's how he's seeing himself. So I think we're getting closer to that being the case of people seeing him in that way. And then before we talk about, you know, the score.
Wait, what about my opinions on the cover?
No. Well, we're going to get to that. But I have one thing. One thing I thought was missing on this project was a feature. Brent Faiyaz. Justin Bieber, Brent Faiyaz.
Don't they have a song together, don't they?
I don't think so.
No. But I feel like they could be.
They could. I think they could. And this kind of production, I think this would be a good mixture. But I'm sorry. Talk about this very complex cover.
Swag, why? Like, I feel like he's kind of one of those artists where, you know, there's that scientific study where it's like people who become famous at a specific age, their mentality and just like their life gets frozen at that age. When Justin Bieber was becoming famous, that was like 2010, when we still said swag. That was something that we did say. And I feel like he's kind of been frozen there because nobody on earth, why on earth is this album named Swag?
Who still says swag?
Who still says swag? And also, why is a Justin Bieber album named Swag? He's not in a bad boy era. He's becoming a dad. Like, if you listen to Dad's Love and Devotion, it's about him soon becoming a dad. Why are we talking about swag? Like, I feel like these things are not correlated whatsoever.
Like, to me, when I see that this album is called Swag, I'm picturing him in a G-Shock with his snapback backwards. Like,
but that was a thing for him at one time. That's what he did. He did look like that.
No, we saw that era.
Yeah,
we
were there. We were there. We were outside. So yeah, the cover not good, not very good. Do you think it's a no skips?
It's not a no skips.
Okay,
but I do think it has that thing sonically where you can just play it.
Yeah, that's true.
In full. It's not a no skips. We got to figure out a name for that. Please, in the comments, let us know.
Yeah.
What is the name for an album that's not a no skips, but you can play it in full?
Yeah.
Because it has music? This is like peak background music. Mm-hmm. Like, it's funny we are comparing him to Miley Cyrus. To me, who this actually is really a comparison to is Harry Styles.
Ooh. It's kind of an insult. The way we view how we feel about Harry Styles is different than the general public.
No, for sure. But let me land.
Yeah.
Harry Styles was background music, but a different kind of background music. Yeah. It was like Costco, retail background music. This is like background music that you actually would put on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, they're both making background music. This is like, okay, like, I'm chilling at the crib, put this on. Yeah. Or I got people over.
We're cooling.
Put this on. So I think he achieved something.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a skippable sweet spot, Sexy Red. I apologize, but I can skip that one. I can skip that one pretty easily. There are a couple other skips, but they're just like lackluster, like things to do. It's just like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Is it a vinyl cop?
No.
You don't like that? You don't like the cover?
Yeah, because sonically, this could be in like the top 3-4 of Bieber albums that I would think about copying on vinyl.
Okay.
Because this is probably one of my favorite sounds from him. Mm-hmm. That kind of 80s synth sound. But imagine having a vinyl that says swag on it. Like, that doesn't feel right.
That's kind of like, when humanity is dead and like the aliens are digging stuff up, they'd be like, they'll dig up an album and like, swag, this was an artifact of the time 2010. And it's like, no, this shit came out in 2025.
and the crazy, and I that's probably one thing I hate the most of this whole project is actually just the name of the album.
Yeah.
If it was a different word on this cover, I probably would not have as much of a problem.
Right.
But years from now, when you're trying to explain to someone that Justin Bieber made good music and was like somewhat of a serious artist, this album cover and this title is not going to play in your favor.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, the moment everybody's been waiting for. Adriel, what is your score for Justin Bieber's Swag?
This for me is a 6.
Okay.
A 6 out of 10. I think this album is good.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less. There's a lot of things I like on here in terms of the production. That's my era. I wasn't there, but that's my era. I love that sound from him. I like the direction he's going in, and I like a lot of the features. Druski could do without, but this is a good album to me.
Yeah, okay. I like where you're going with this. For me, Swag by Justin Bieber. It's a 5.5. Acceptable. It's acceptable. I think that the production is acceptable. I think there are a couple of songs where it drifts into just being drab. Like, it's just like whatever, wallpaper. But then we got some songs where I'm like, yo, this reminds me of some Janet Jackson vibes. If you ever get a comparison to Janet Jackson, you're doing an excellent job.
Facts.
Okay, you're doing a peak job. So there is that duality that exists, but it's never a sharp turn. So that's why it's like, it's hard to say a song is even bad. It's just like, whatever, and then the other songs are good.
Yeah, because I think this album suffers from being compared to him. Because he has other songs in his catalog that you're like, throw your hands up in the, like, you feel that way about. But I try to compare this to a Dijon or an Mkgee album. I like their projects more than this one, but it's in that vein where I'm not having it lose points for not having that huge dynamic song. Right. When it comes to Bieber, you're like, no, you got to give us.
Yeah, there's got to be something. There's got to be something huge on it. Where's the Despacito at? Where's the
Despacito?
Where's the Despacito? Where's the where are you now? What's the song that he had with Drake? Where's that song?
Oh, Right Now?
Right Now. Where are the songs at?
Oh my God. Right
Where's
now,
the baby?
right now would be good.
Where's the baby at, bro? That's one of the things that he's missing. I don't want to hold it against him, but I just do think that like there is that duality where like some of the songs are just like, but then some of the other songs are really good, and it's a knife's edge sometimes where it comes to that. So I think it's really good. I think the songs, songwriting wise, we didn't dive too far in depth again because this shit came out 9 hours ago. But the parts where he's talking about becoming a father, how much he loves his wife, it never felt Chance the Rapper-ish to me. It felt heartfelt, but not cheesy, right? So I think that's, that worked for me. I got it, and it didn't feel like I love my wife. My wife is so amazing. I love my wife. It was like, I love this and this part of you and this aspect. And when you do this, you know what I mean? It's just different.
I think it actually kind of makes sense in calling this album swag because Justin Bieber is probably cooler than he's ever been at this point.
Okay.
He's figured out his swag and his hair and all that because he was doing some crazy things back in the day. But in terms of who he has in the project, it's also like he knows who is cool.
Okay. Cash
Cobain, Lil B, Gunna. I think there's a time where these wouldn't be the features on a Justin Bieber album.
Yeah.
So there's some awareness there. In the comments, let us know. Is there someone who should be on this album who is not? Are we rating this album too high? 5.5 was where I was at.
Yeah.
I gave it an extra half point for the production. I said the production isn't bad on here.
Yeah.
Extra half point. But what do you guys think? Best album he's ever made? Where do you rank this in his discography? Is this a top 3 Justin Bieber album? Probably not, right? Probably not.
No.
Top 7.
Okay, sure.
You can find us on the interwebs at Album Mode on Twitter, Album Mode on TikTok, Album Mode Pod on Instagram, Album Mode on YouTube. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later days.